they are the father of the.
Now we're Facebook Live.
Yeah, okay. I was troubleshooting that. My boy saved me with his Wi-Fi. I think it's a Wi-Fi problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah, right.
Yep. We're live.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Stop. I don't wanna. Hold on. I think I'm. How do I do that? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, so that is so now that's embarrassment. But the judge said that let nobody say anything to the lady. Eh, he gave that warning because he didn't want somebody causing her on the street or looking at her as some kind of names. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, it's personal. Now it becomes personal. So that's why it's personal, is her personal business. And she knew what she did. So she needs to face those consequences. She is the one that's going to be out there. And people really shouldn't be saying too much about that. People should stay out of it. What the judge says, that's what it is. And of course, Gambian people are not going to stay out of it. They're going to talk. People are going to talk. They own their opinion. They have a right to their opinion. They will say their opinion. However, I don't think, and I don't believe no one should go after this lady for what happened during this time. So, like I said, the good news is the person that's been incarcerated, in other words, for committing a crime, raping and getting her pregnant, that happened to be false. That the pregnancy part happened to be false. Because he's been declared by the DNA that he was not the father of the child, and the other guy also not the father of the child. So so that part is very clear to people, very very clear to people, and I think everyone should go with that, and that's part of the reason all the charges were dropped, and Bob Keita got free, and he's back home with his family and friends, and that's where he belongs. He shouldn't be in the prison. So that was the right thing. And like I said earlier, kudos to his attorneys, his lawyers, Ellis Camara and the other lady that stood by him all this time and fought for him to get justice. And now justice is here. We got justice. He's got justice. He's going home. So end of that case. End of that case. So for the side of the woman, like I said, it's her personal business. It's her personal business. So she will be the one that's going to sleep on her pillow and think about that and see what she wants to do with the rest of her life. But people really shouldn't be going after her for what happened here. What was wrong in the case, though, getting someone incarcerated in prison for too long before this fair trial, before this judgment. So I think that was a little bit overboard. And Gambia needs to
But
really
2 years, 2 years out of your life is a lot. You can get your
yeah. I mean, there's a lot you can do in 2 years. There's a lot you can do in 2 years. So sitting in prison doing nothing because you've been accused of something, it's not good. It's bad for his
Do you think
reputation. It's bad for his future.
there's a power hand in this? Or this is just like you know, this is probably a domestic issue, or there's a powerhouse behind this or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what's behind it, but at the end of the day, I believe in fair trial. I believe in judgments. When the court ruled that he was not the father of the child, so that took him out of that picture. Now, did he actually rape her? I don't know that, and that's not been. And the burden of proof is on the lady.
The problem with the rape issue is that they didn't claim it at the time because the evidence from
Yeah,
rape,
yeah,
has a time limit that you
yeah.
can find
So
evidence on someone. So once they were not able to do that, they
yeah.
started going after the child,
Well,
not
that's
knowing,
where they drop the ball. If you claim someone rape, if someone rape a female, that female need to come out that same day. need to come out that same day and claim it and report it. Let that person
You
be
don't wait too
arrested.
long until the
Yeah.
evidence cannot be shown anymore.
Waiting too long that you don't have a case. You just you're almost not going to have any case if you wait too long. And this waited too long, way too long, to bring that to the court now. You know, what evidence do you have? You know, so that's going to be the case. That's where the whole thing got dropped. Part of the reason the whole thing got dropped. If you look at it from the other side, if Bob Keita was convicted of not only raping, but also happened to, if DNA proof that he was the father or he is the father of this baby, then the rape case will stand.
That's what I always said. You know, if you're gonna go after the father, that's a very who is the father. That's not a solid case, because you can leave somebody and still not be the father. You know.
Yeah. And the credibility becomes an issue at that point as well. You know, credibility will become a huge issue.
And now you say, you know, now it looks like you said, if this none of them are the father, then now the question lingers, who is the real father? And this might hunt, you know, it might hunt you know, either the mother, the sister, or the girl herself. You know.
Yeah. Only God and the lady will know. Only God and the lady knows. So the person she thought was the father is not the father. The boyfriend is not the father. So God knows who is the father. So but something that's since it's out of the courts now, and all this case, the Bob Keita's case has been dropped. So I think that's the end of the story.
What does this mean? What does this mean for Bob Keita moving forward?
Well, there's a lot of things to consider here. I mean, one is he wasted almost 2 years in prison for nothing, right? So he could have been doing something in the past 2 years and he didn't. So that's a waste of time for him. That's one. Two, false imprisonment, and that's what he was in prison. He was in prison for something that was false. And three, you know, he needs to think about his future. What is he going to do moving forward? You know, and what lessons does he learn, or did he learn from this? Those are the things that stay
away from women.
Well, again, that's all part of what lessons he learned. What lessons he learned from this is very crucial.
One of my teachers, Paju, he was incarcerated because of women in Kenya.
He was what?
He was incarcerated. He was imprisoned by women because of women affairs. And when he came, he never got married anymore.
He never got married, you said?
He never get married to any woman anymore.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, he should move on with his life. He needs to think.
Bob is gonna take that route, or if Bob is gonna stay, married somebody else, or I don't know what is his mind process. But if something like this happened to somebody who was your ex-wife, you tend to
Yeah. But God is great, and God will protect him. God will guide him, and he will need to talk to his parents and advisors and elderly people and move on with his life. What he does next, that's up to him. He really needs to move on with his life, knowing that he's out of this mess now. But I'm sure it is a lesson learned for him.
Right. All right. So that being said, I think now we can just jump to the our second thing, since we are
and Famare is online too. He also joined.
Yeah. And Famara.
Hello, Sawane. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Famara, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, Famara, do you have anything to add to Bob Keita's case?
Well, thank God everything is over now. So Bob is acquitted and discharged. And then according to the investigations or the scientific test that's been done, that he is not the father of the baby. So that burden is off his shoulder now. So I think the next step is to find out how the baby died and who is responsible. And then that should be investigated, and then also establish exactly how it was done. And then also the mother of the baby accused of rape, accused Bob of rape as well. So we know he's not the father, but did the rape happen or not? So that one we don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that also needs to be investigated as well. You know,
But,
whether
Bambara, they cannot investigate the rape now because it has happened like long time ago. I mean, like, how are you gonna investigate something if a rape happened? Like, unless you have eyewitnesses or something like that. But what
yeah,
are the
that's right.
evidence?
Which is very difficult to establish because to find evidence to a rape, you know, even in our cultural or Islamic way, you need to have at least 3 witnesses, you know, to confirm a rape. So which make it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But
and then you need to have pictures too, you know, like something that
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so far I think that is the end of the story right now. The other thing is we need to find out how the baby died and who is responsible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's what we need now, basically.
Yeah.
that's in the courts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like
All
Sam
right.
said, this is lesson learned.
Yep.
So hopefully we all learn from it, and not only Bob but everybody.
Everybody.
Because a lot of things are happening that are not being reported, and I hope this case should not be a reason why people should stop reporting abuse in homes or abuse by husbands and rape by people. You know, women should always have the courage to come forward and report such cases. Yeah.
What about women? What about husband being abused by women?
Yeah, husband also need to speak up. I think that's something men also need to speak up and talk something about that, so we can also know the women, that we can also know that there are women that are really abusive to their husbands too. So in any form, it should not be it should not be allowed, whether on the side of the women or the men. You know, people should not be abused. Your partners should not be abused. They should not be forced to do something that they are not willing to do. Yeah. All right.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Farmer. Thank you, Sam. So I think we can just jump into the other one. Since kind of like we don't have much windows today. The second session is the acute kidney injuries that we are experiencing. I think I saw it on the news. You know, there is also another report coming that somewhere another country they have the same 20 people died because of the kidney.
Oh, really? In Africa? Or?
Yeah, I can just pull it up now, but it's related. It's kind of like a related thing. It was on Blue Gambia platform. It was just posted there this morning. So they're saying that there's a report of 20 cases from another country. I'm just gonna look it up now. So so it looks like something is happening. This cannot be only Gambia. Yeah. Or it's in Indonesia. Indonesia, CNN reports Wednesday that there is an Indonesian authority said that they are investigating a case of acute kidney injuries in the death of more than 20 children in the capital of Jakarta. And they were in talks with WHO experts investing the case.
Wow.
Yeah. So Indonesia also are claiming that they were experiencing some cases.
Did they say, is it from the same company?
What the WHO is investigating it.
Okay, investigating. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does this acute kidney injury, the death of 60 something or 70 something people meant to Gambia? That what why is it that nobody came forward to say this person is is in charge, responsible, and nobody is getting fired or arrested or something like that? Why is it that this life lost is just still nothing been done?
Well, yeah, to me, it all comes down to leadership, because leadership is there to lead people and really look after the well-being of the people that elected the president and put him in place, and the president nominated his people and hired these people and put them in place. So they all report to him, or the president should be reporting to the people. So as a result, and I know you and I know, we all know that if this happened in European countries or in America, the leaders resign because they fail to perform their job duties to protect people. That's what happened. Those responsible will resign. If they don't resign, they will be fired. That's what happened, because something like this, one life is one too many. That's the way I look at it. Sometimes accidents happen. So when accidents happen, you look at something happened to one child. It get investigated. While it's under investigation, another child came up dead. And then, that rings the door, a bell. That rings a bell. Something is happening. They need to take that investigation very seriously and do it as quickly as possible with lab tests and results that prove the cause of it. When they prove the cause of it, that's when medical recall takes place. That's when recalls come in. You don't wait until 10 people die, 20 people. Now it's 60 something people. You don't wait to that. When it gets to 2 people, anything 2 and more, just like in foodborne illness outbreak. This was an outbreak. 2 or more people got killed because of contaminated medicine. That's an outbreak. So that the recall should have happened a lot sooner, where they recall this medicine and make it very clear to everyone on radio and television stations. I know there was a time, I think someone in the medical board came out and said something when it was already too late. Too many people died, too many children died already. But it should have been a little bit more than that. I would say that it needs to be announced on radio and television stations, and then they need to get their crew out to every pharmacy in the country to search for that syrup and get it out, and get them all out and save them for evidence. That way they could all be sent back to the lab. They could all be sent to where they came from, and all those pharmacies, they need to take an inventory of what is in each pharmacy, who has what, and stop them from selling it. Take all of that and refund them, process a refund for them to get credit for what they bought, where they bought that from. But the end of the day, the most important thing is a way to save lives. You prevent others from getting the same thing. That way there will be alternative, and the health ministry at that point would be announcing also, if you're stopping this one, then give people an alternative, something else to use rather than this, because it's dangerous, it's killing people. They need to make it very, very clear. Now, once that's done, then investigations take place and into how did we get this into our country in the first place? Who was involved in this contract negotiation? How did it get to the country? Go after those sources, and where did they get their basis from? Why was this medicine considered safe for Gambians to use, for people to use in the first place, knowing that it's been contaminated, whether they knew it or not, but it's been contaminated. So this is where all of that need to take place, so that that investigation takes place. And of course, as a result, the health minister needed to resign. All those under the health ministry that were involved in this, I call it catastrophe. It's a catastrophe when you have this many children died. I don't know. I hope it ends where it is now. I hope we're not counting and there's not more coming, because it'll be very serious. But the health minister really need to resign. If not, the president should fire him. If I were the president, he would be fired. Definitely. If he didn't resign immediately, I would say, you know what, you're out of here. You're playing with people's lives. This is bad for our government, bad for our people, bad for the children and their families. And everyone needs to take it as if this was your child, if your child was involved in this, if your child was killed because of this medicine, what would you do? How would you think about it? That's the way we need to bring it down to every level, so that people understand the severity and also think about the consequences of this. So These are the futures of Gambia. These children were the future of Gambia, and we just terminated their future because of wrong medicine or contaminated medicine that should not have been in our country in the first place. So there is a lot that needs to be done. But like I said, the health minister, as far as I know, up to this time has not resigned. The president should fire him. Should really fire him and go down the chain and see who else is involved in all of this and take action. But the president, in his speech also, he should have mentioned that he should have, number one, mourned with the people. You know, the president is the chief of the nation. He is the chief of the state. He is the chief in everything. Okay. So in that case, being the leader, Gambian people are his family. He should have looked at it as my family and my children died because of this wrong medicine. He should mourn with people and assure people that he is going to get to the bottom of this, investigate, and whoever is responsible will be held accountable, including the company that made this medicine. We should go after them and sue them in court for our 69 or whatever number of children that died. We should go after them and sue them for making such a bad medicine that came to kill Gambian children. So there is a lot to it, and I can't say it all, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to talk about it as well. But there should be a lot going on, and at this time, that health minister should not be in position. You're muted.
Yeah. So, before Mvamara comes, Sam, they're saying that they don't have the machines, they don't have the technology to test these medicines. So, what do you have?
My response to that is, if you know that you don't have technology to test medicine, do not bring any medicine in that is not tested by that state, you know, where it came from. You've got to use the medicine that others are using. You know, when Indians get sick, they go to the hospital. They don't give them this medicine. They gave them something, right? They give them something. So what they give them, what their Indian government certified as this is the best medicine for children, that's what we should have bought to come to Gambia. That's why that's why I'm saying that. So we should not have been allowing anything that's not tested by that government. It has to be government to government. So you can't just go buy something off the street or from a pharmaceutical that we don't know, and a pharmaceutical company that is not selling that product in that country, right? So even if it's been tested by them, we don't have the equipment. We could have had the equipment. We have so much money in Gambia. We wasted all this money into stupid things that should have been spent in the healthcare of people. Okay, the government should spend the money and get every equipment and every tool and technology we need, and have trained professionals, Gambian trained professionals that are going to look into all of it. Until that happens, do not bring anything in that's not tested by another government.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Okay.
That's what we should
make
do.
sense. Yeah. All right. Okay, Famara.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sawane. Thank you, Sam, for that excellent, deliberation. As you suggested, I think that's the way forward, and it all comes down to leadership. This is a very serious situation that happened. 66 young children lost their life because of avoidable circumstances. So if the health minister did not have the gut to resign, the president should suspend him or fire him at this point in time, because the fair investigation will not happen when these people are in their positions right now. If the health minister is there, the director of health service is there, the MCA team are there, the investigation will not be running smoothly, because one way or the other, they are the point of contact on some of the information that the police needs to know. And they could block some information as well. And then the minister resigned doesn't mean that he is directly involved in this failure, but it happened under his watch. The entire ministry is under his watch.
Yeah.
You understand?
Exactly.
And his supervisors, which are the director of health service and the pharmaceutical department or MCA, whatever you call them, This is a failure from all of those. So when the minister resigned or the minister is suspended or those medical associations that are suspended, then that will show that a leadership is really concerned about the situation, because this is what is happened in any country. Not even in Senegal, close door neighbor, whatever. I hate to give Senegal as an example in any situation we are doing, but that shows that how the Gambia is actually how we do things. It's not the way things should be done. We have to done professionally, and we have to also show concern that we care. Because if the president cares about the 66th life, the minister should not be there at this point in time until the investigation is over. And then maybe if he needs to fire him or transfer him to another department, let him go. But at this point in time, he shouldn't be there.
Somebody said, according to his own words, he said he's a surgeon. What is the point of firing him? What would that help the situation?
That's what he said. Yes, he's a surgeon. He's a good surgeon. He can go and do retire. And I mean, the president can take him from the Minister of Health and then go give him a head of surgeon department where he is qualified to do his job. But in this case, he did not do his job. So that means that he's only know how surgery is done, but he doesn't know the administrative aspect of health. He doesn't have the health administration, experience or knowledge. So in this case, let him take him to where he is good at, which is doing surgery, and then leave the administrative part to people who know. Yeah, it's as simple as that. We are not directly blaming him that he is the one that give medication or give license to these companies to operate. But we are saying it happens on his watch. So maybe he's only interested in how surgery is done in the whole ministry than to be responsible on how administration is done. And this is why we are saying he failed on that aspect. So therefore, he should be relieved from his position, transferred to another place, and all those board teams suspended until the police are finished with their investigation, since the police have opened an investigation on the matter. So they are a regulator or enforcer of the law, but at the same time they are partners. You hear what they say, the ladies say about it's a partnership. It doesn't mean that they are renting their license. A partnership, actually, in fact, that's even more implicatory if you say you are a partner. Because a partner, if you have a business and I'm your business partner, then that means I'm even putting my money in your business, right? I'm putting money in the business. I'm part of the.
We share the interest.
We share the business. That's even more implicatory than to say I am renting out, because you can rent your license, but yet you don't have the control over the money and the investment that is being used to buy those medicines to bring into the country. That one, you do not have that right or control over that. The control you have is how your license is being done. So that is less implicatory than to say you are a partner. If you're a partner, then you know how much money you needed to go and buy those medications. You are fully aware of all the transactions that has been done. You have seen all the paperwork that has been done, and yet you are the regulator. You are the one that enforce the law on behalf of the people of the Gambia on how those drugs should be brought to the country. So that means that you knew from the beginning what was going on. And despite your knowledge and professionalism in that area, you still allowed those procedures to continue until a medication came to a country that is not safe for public consumption or even for human consumption. So if that happened, then we should even be blame them now and hold them responsible. So this means they should not even be there right now for the investigation to be done. So the president is actually giving them support. And then the president is backing them right now. This is why none of them had the guts to resign. But if the president wants to take up the leadership and accept that this is a failure of the Minister of Health and is a failure for him as the head of state as well, then obviously these people shouldn't be there.
Do you think this will backfire on the president?
Of course, yes, because he's carrying the burden right now, because his administration and the minister, they all fail us. Because one, the incident happened, the minister, the ministry did the investigation, and then based on the information that they gathered, that was when the WHO came in to assist them. So when the laboratory results were out, WHO notified them after 3 days. They did not even tell the Gambian people what happened until when WHO had to release their data, because they are a World Health Organization. They are obliged by their law to release information out.
So if this wasn't gone done, if this was not discovered by WHO, do you think we will ever get the truth of this?
Probably not. If at all the Gambia had the laboratory in the Gambia where WHO doesn't have to come in, maybe they will try to see another way around to blame, or maybe they will even recover the medication or recall the medication, but they will not tell us why they're recalling it. You understand? There will be some sort of cover up. Yeah, exactly. So you wouldn't know what is going to happen. We get to know this because our people and our WHO got involved. And now they want to blame WHO for leaving the information when the information was given to them 3 days. They have it. And after 3 days, you don't release it.
They cannot blame WHO because they have the right to disclose anything that is of danger, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So with this, some human rights activists, organizations are saying that they will take this matter to court.
Yeah.
How do you guys see that? You think they have a valid point and they can bring it against as one of the humanitarian, as one of those cases against humanity? Because 67 or 60 something or 70 something kids died, not knowing like this medicine is gonna kill them. Do you think this is fit for their claim to take it to the International Criminal Court and prosecute this government for that?
Well, it's a violation of human rights. No matter what happened, they have violated our right because we trusted the government, to look after our health and the life and the well-being of citizens. Okay. So if the life and the well-being of citizens are not respected or violated, that's a violation of human rights because our life is dependent on our government because we think they will make a good informed decision and then follow the protocols and the necessary procedures to allow a medication that will enter in our country, to help us in our welfare or in terms of treating our health. So, but if they fail to do their job and that cause a thing like this, I think any family, any human rights organization have all right to sue the government to do that. But now at this point in time, before we reach to that stage, we want to know what the leadership is doing. So they have opened an investigation. The minister is still there with his team. And then now, I don't know whether they visited the families or not, and we have seen a press conference is also been planned by the families of the visit after the candlelight vigil and all those things. So we need to see what's going to go on. So the government now need to show proactive steps to show that they're really concerned about it. If not, well, any genuine family or any of the victims have all right to take them to anywhere, and they should be responsible because it's a total failure of the government and the medical control agency for not doing their job.
Good. Okay. So thank you, Sam. Do you think that maybe there might be some other medicines like this that has penetrated the country and then perhaps doing some killings that we don't know?
There is a possibility. This is one that we know of that already cost lives. There could be more, we don't know. Since getting this one, we know that they're getting this from an unapproved source, and I'll put it that way. When I say unapproved source, is because the source of this medicine is not something that was approved worldwide, approved in certain areas, certain countries to be used. And some are saying not even in India. So why Gambia then? If it's not approved to be used in India, why Gambia? Because they want to kill us. They want to just make money. That's it. At people's expense. So, at the expense of people, is really a bad situation. And things like this, I've always recommended lawsuits. Every child that was killed in this should be accounted for. And there should be.
Who are you gonna sue if the government already don't?
No, the people. Well, the government has responsibility here for bringing such medicine. They went for a cheap. This is what you get when you get something cheap. Sometimes when you follow cheap stuff, you don't end up getting the good quality. So the government has a responsibility. But what the government, this is why I said, in president's speech, the speech that he gave, he should have assured the Gambian people, as the father of the nation, that he is going to dig through this and get to the bottom line, all the way to the source, wherever he came from, to make sure he assure Gambians that they will follow through this, to hold these people accountable for this. And of course, those actions starts with his current administration. The health minister is very incompetent in managing this health department. You know, I've said this in some of my audios in the previous years when he was nominated. I heard he was a surgeon, he was a good doctor. Well, keep him as a good doctor. A good doctor doesn't necessarily mean that he
Good
can manage
manager.
the whole health department. So keep him where he was, and unfortunately they put him in this position.
You can know the job, but that doesn't mean that you can manage the job.
Right. Well, I mean, doing the job, but he's a doctor that is good in being a doctor to operate people and things like that. Doesn't mean you need to give him the whole health ministry. If he doesn't know, I mean, his actions really reveal that he really doesn't know anything about administration. And administration is very important, very, very important. You have to know this because as an administrator, you're the one that gives those directions. You're the one that laid the foundation. You're the one that put all those rules and regulations in place so everything goes by you so that the right channels get followed and the right things get done. If not, the bad things will happen on your watch and it'll be your incompetency. So he needs to go. He needs to go. In my eyes, he needs to be fired. That's what it is. Even if he's a good surgeon, he can go find a job somewhere else and continue his career as that. But he failed Gambian people. And the government failed the Gambian people. So the president should assure Gambian people that he is going to find the details of this and get to the bottom of it. You know, go after and sue the Indian people, the company that made this, sue them and compensate Gambian people, those who lost their lives in this.
Yeah,
that's the way it needs to be. But lawsuits must happen. It really should happen.
Yeah, I think they need to be compensated because those kids are never coming back, and we don't know if they would have been if they were given the opportunity to leave. So, and then knowing this as a mother or as a dad or family member, you would have said to yourself, my child life would have been prevented if the child never give this to my child. So those people cannot even forgive themselves. So I think lawsuits, the Indian, government, and then getting family compensated is a route to go, and also having the government and then discipline, take people to court who are responsible, fire people who need to be fired, so that this kind of thing never happen again. And they get the testing machine, save money from other, this per deals, the necessary flight coming to this country for what, how many millions of dollars, what costs on things that are not necessary, and put it in the affairs of lives, human beings. I think that's the way forward. I don't want to hear, we don't have this, we don't have this. When are we going to have it? The amount of money that is in the Gambia, the kind of, money that, like that comes in. Come on now. If they watch on what they spend, they will be able to get some money for important things like this. Look at, they said that, if knowing or knowledge or education, it until you got the cost of ignorance of not knowing. That's more expensive. Look at the cost of this now. The cost of not having them see. That's what costs us 60, 70 something kids. That's like a massacre. That's why this is one of the most serious things. And I know when Germany was in power, they killed the immigrants from 9 people. Immigrant, that was a life to what, then terrorism, maybe against whatever you want to find out. This one also is considered. We are considering this one as that close to that. If you fail to do what you need to do in a life like that, it's directly your fault. So, I guess we can just do our final final thoughts, and then and the economic position.
Yeah.
And then,
For me, I'll say, finally, I'll say it is very sad. It's a very sad situation to see such thing happen to young children. And who knows, one of them could have been president, could be president in the future. You never know. So we cut their life short. Innocent children, they are innocent children. So the government should take responsibility. The president should not be barking, should not be backing his Ministry of Health. He should be backing the Gambian people, because this happened in his administration. Is a bad record for his administration. He needs to take action to correct this. Even though we can't get the lives back, there's no way to correct that, but at least something needs to be done. The president needs to stand to make sure that the Gambian people get what they deserve. We want the truth. We want what happened. We want these people held accountable, and anyone that's involved in this be held accountable. Those things need to happen. He needs to make sure that the Gambia government sues this pharmaceutical company in India to make sure that these victims' families get compensated, even though they can never pay for life, but at least get some compensation for this. This is what the government need to do, and the president need to set an example by, again, eliminating and terminating people that are involved in this practice, and also making sure that this doesn't happen, and that sends a strong message for every department in his administration to do the right thing. Gambia has a lot of money. We have a lot of money. We have the resources, but we are mismanaging our resources. That's why we can't even afford to have a simple thing like this. Certain things when it comes to medical tools and technology and equipment and things like that, we can't have them in our hospital. We don't have them in our hospitals because we are mismanaging our funds, and no one is holding them accountable for mismanaging these funds. So it's unfortunate, but we have a very sad situation, and something really needs to come out of it by the government stand. And the government, like I said, the president being the leader, needs to take the lead in this to make sure it get thoroughly investigated and the victims get compensated.
Thank you.
Also put steps in place to avoid such from happening, because you cannot just go after this one and forget to put very strict measures in place so nothing like this ever happen in our country again. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Sawane. The country is still mourning the death of these 66 kids. I hope the government will speed up their investigation and let people know what is going on and the step they are going to take. Very concrete measures is what we're expecting. I know Gambia, every day new cases are coming up. What I mean new cases mean everything, every day something is coming up that always captured our mind and our attention. And I hope this incident will not be brushed under the carpet to easily forget about it quickly. So all eyes are on the president and the executive on the action they are going to take, because otherwise, it is not good for our country. And if we don't take measures against these unscrupulous businessmen coming into our country, and of course our corrupt officials, government civil servants in the system that use their power and influence, to only, look into anything that interests them only and forgetting about the interests of the population. I think such people should not deserve to be in public institution because they are killers, because corruption kills. And this is what happened here. Corruption is the one that killed that 66 kids. No doubt about that. Corruption kills them. And inefficiency, negligence, contributed a lot. And it does not rule out the president and the minister of health that still continue to hang on his power and not resigning up to now. I think he should be taking a responsibility here and make sure that the lives of the Gambian people, especially the young ones, are protected. So we are following this case. We have not forgotten, and will continue to demand the government to do something as soon as possible, so that the victims of these malpractices or disaster deserve the justice they need, because it's a complete violation of our human right, their human right. Those kids, whatever they could be in the future, only all God knows. So that has been taken away because somebody somewhere failed to do his or her job. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Vamara. Thanks, Mr. Sawani. I think he's muted.
Yeah, thank you. All right, take care, guys.
Yeah, thank you all.
All right.